People who declined a proposal. Why did you do it? He asked me randomly when on a night out when we weren't even dating, just friends. I thought he was joking, but then he came over the next day to ask what my feelings were. I had to say I didn't think of him that way, and it was awkward for a while. Boys in Christian college be like. Military guys be like. A lot of military guys propose after like a month dating. It might be the loneliness of being away or the added security and commitment that just dating doesn't carry. Edit. Yes, and the money housing. Thanks to those who chimed in already. I was fresh out of high school and dating a guy in the military that I went to school with. We had been dating about 3 months when he proposed. He was nice, and I could have seen a future with him, but 3 months was just too soon for me, even though we had been friends for quite some time. I told him I wasn't ready and he never spoke to me again. He literally only proposed because I caught him cheating. He thought I would say yes. OMG, of course. I forgive you. Please, continue to cheat on me after we both sign a legally binding contract. Dude was dumb. Your story reminded me of one of my friends who was cheated on by her boyfriend, then he also proposed and said, if you meet her, you'd really like her. She is a lot like you. Like he had the gall to expect her to agree to an immediate threesome and polygamous marriage. Got asked in college by a close female friend. We weren't dating, I hadn't ever felt an attraction to her, and I knew she just wanted a husband more than she wanted me, the actual person. 100%, yikes. It was our first date. He showed up drunk and called me somebody else's name. Hey Karen, you wanna F? I'm not Karen. That's not what I asked about. Proposed to my college girlfriend when I was 20 and she was 21. We had been dating for a year and she got pregnant. I thought we were in love because everything was great and I genuinely loved her. I had a great job and so I proposed because I wanted to marry her and start a family. She then broke down and started crying. She told me she had been sleeping with her ex-boyfriend for the past month. She then said that she didn't know who the baby belonged to, so went and got an abortion without consulting me or him. She got back together with him and I spiraled into alcoholism for the next few years. I'm about to turn 30 now, went back to college 2 years ago, and no longer use drugs or alcohol, besides weed sometimes. I'm starting life over again at 30 after all that, and having to take care of my grandfather who had a stroke. Life is weird. My mom had been dating a guy for a few weeks after his wife had just died from cancer. His daughter was at college and he was paying for her education, boarding, food. I had just turned 18 and started paying my mom rent money. He proposed, but said that I needed to move out because he didn't like me, and thought that I was a freeloader. My mom told him that she loved me more than him, and that he could shove his dead wife's ring up his ass, and left him. Your mom is badass, hug her extra tight next time you see her because she's awesome. He was that weird stoner patron that came in just to talk to me even though I wasn't interested. He told me he was the heir to the Commonwealth and should be king after Elizabeth dies, because he had the 3 out of the emblems of the United Kingdom, and once he got the 4th it would secure his position. He would also make airplane noises when I had my attention turned to other tasks. That's a no, Jason. I proposed to my boyfriend of 3 years. He told me he loved me but just wasn't ready because his parents had a really bad marriage, and frankly, he didn't know if he could ever get married. I cried my eyes out and he held me, but he was, gently, adamant. I accepted after a while that we wouldn't get married and to be happy that we were together and loved each other. 2 years later he proposed to me. Married 12 years so far. Well, he proposed as I was breaking up with him, which was awkward, and for some reason he thought it would make me change my mind. Also, he had threatened to kill my family the day before, hence the breakup, so there's that. Edit. Thanks for the kind words, everyone. At the time, this was my first relationship and I was very naive. I was 19 and he was 20, and we had dated for roughly 5-6 months. I'm now in a very happy, stable, and healthy relationship, smiley face. I'm on the opposite side of this story, but it's still a good one. This was years ago. My girlfriend and I were at a friend's wedding, and I got caught up in the romanticism of it, and wound up blurting out a proposal at the reception. She said no, and explained that this wasn't the memory of a proposal that she wanted. It felt tacky to tie this important moment to someone else's special day, and she told me to ask her again later, in a different setting. Literally 5 minutes later, they announced that the bride was going to throw the bouquet. All the girls lined up, it went into the air, and sailed straight into my girlfriend's arms. She laughed, turned to me, and said, "That moment is pretty good. Okay, I guess we're engaged." When he asked, my future flashed in front of me and I hated it. He was a good guy and I did love him, but we wanted different things. We had been together for many years, but the proposal was still a surprise. I think he proposed to try and save a sinking relationship. Because we had been dating for a week. We were on the verge of a breakup when he asked. We'd been having problems for a few years. His idiot friend told him it was a good idea to propose, and that it would make everything magically better. I told him no. We broke up and I moved away for a while. As they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. It was true in our case. We were able to work things out. I moved back and 2 years later, we got married. We've been together for 24 years, have 2 daughters and 1 grandchild. There was a guy who proposed his co-worker in the middle of their shift. The girl shouted something rude and walked away. A few minutes go by and the girl comes back with a smile on her face. That day I realized that a pair of twins worked at my workplace. That day I witnessed that a guy proposed her girlfriend's twin by accident. I was only 16, he just turned 20. Also, he gave me his ex-girlfriend's ring. You know. I was 16 and about to move to California with my grandma and away from my abusive household. Dude I was dating asked me to marry him, and I told him no because I knew moving would give me better opportunities than the shitty small town I was living in. I felt suffocated in that town and needed to work on myself after being abused by my parents. Because she was like 30 years younger than I was, and I already married her mother, who gave birth to her 5 years ago. I love her 3000, so there's that.